to Career Uprising. I'm your host and professional career coach, Lorraine Rise. Join me as I guide you through an amazing journey of self-discovery and empowerment. If you are looking for work, changing careers, or stuck in a toxic job, then this is the show for you. I offer both practical and spiritual guidance to help you up-level and advance your career. Let's start the uprising. Hey everyone, you are listening to episode 119, Leveraging Your Network, Part 2, How to Get Referred. How are you doing, everyone? Welcome back. And this is the second episode of a little mini series that I'm doing. Haven't done that in a while, but I wanted to break this important topic up into 2 shows so I could give you guys as much information as I can. So we're going to talk more today about how to learn how to finally leverage your network to land a position. As always, please do take a moment, give the show a rating and review. I've been seeing more and more people doing that on Apple, and I love it. I notice it. I appreciate it. So while you're listening, if you could do that now, I would very much love it and appreciate it. So thank you for finding me today. Just a lot going on. I feel like I say that at the beginning of every show, but it's so true. This is the busiest time of year for my business, and we have a number of clients right now getting really good results. I have one who's been out of her line of work for 2 years, but she's got multiple companies interviewing her right now. So exciting. And then I've got another late career client who's been doing nothing, but also interviewing with multiple companies just nonstop since she got her new resume. And I'm just jazzed. I'm so excited. This is what I work and live for. So love to see clients getting good results. And especially after such a tough economy over the last 2 years, now is a better time to get out there if you've got the itch or the desire to change jobs or change careers. So, and I'm working with another client too. Sorry that I wanted to mention, different situation, stay-at-home mom for 10 years and now re-entering the workforce. And she was absolutely blown away and thrilled when she saw her new resume. So I would strongly encourage you guys to take action and make the investment, not in me, but in yourself and in your career. And we help people, as you can see, from all different situations. All 3 of those clients are all actually in really different points in their career. But we can really help you to capitalize on the job market right now. That's what we do. And it's a good time now to go for it. So, all right, let's dig in. So the first show of this series, we talked about how to get started networking, which is who are you going to connect with? So I advised you to get to know who's in your network better and make a list of your top 10 to 15 contacts. Go back and listen to that show. You can listen to this one first if you want. It might make a little more sense if you do the other one first, but they're both, they work together. But make that list of 10 to 15 top contacts, people who know you and can vouch for the type of work that you do and you think that would be willing to have a conversation with you and talk to you about your job search. Or think about people that you have helped in the past. And so therefore they might be willing to help you. Even if you've helped them in a completely different way, it doesn't mean you have to have given them a job. It just means who do you have a good, mutually beneficial relationship with? Who's your friends? Who's your colleagues? Who's your, good former boss, whatever it might be. We're reaching out to those people. But before you do that, I know we're going to talk today about what do you say when you reach out? Because that's really what makes a lot of people nervous too. So, networking is about balance and exchange. Like I said, being mutually beneficial to each other. So the first step in the process might be not that hard for some people, just making a list and seeing who's in your network that you want to reach out to. Where some other people might get really stuck is in the actual outreach part. And what do I say? How do I approach these people? How do I turn these connections into an actual job lead? Well, I've saved that for today's show. And there's also going to be, just so you know, a 2-part blog article to support these as well. So look out for those. They'll come out the same week that each of these shows come out. So at this time of the recording, the first blog article will already be out, and there'll be another one coming out this weekend. So you can always check out my articles. I've been cranking them out. They're on my website, careeruprising.com. And I have more and more been doing companion articles to supplement and go along with the shows. Some people might prefer the podcast. Some people prefer the article. Some people want to read both. Good for you. I put them both out there in both platforms. So go to the website, careeruprising.com, hit blog. By the time you listen to this, probably both, at least one, definitely, but probably both will be there. So, okay. So after you have wiped your brain clean of the idea that networking is bad or slimy or salesy or whatever, now you're ready to start having meaningful conversations with people that you know. And I don't want you to go directly for asking them to help you find a job. What I want you to do instead is focus on these 3 things: advice, insights, and recommendations. It's an acronym. So whenever you're networking, just get some air, okay? Advice, insights, and recommendations. So obviously, if one of your connections can directly connect you to a job opportunity, maybe they can pass your resume right on to the hiring manager or a recruiter, do it. I'm not telling you don't go for that. I'm just saying if you're not sure if they can or will even do that, don't go for that right now. There are other broader ways to engage them in your job search, and that's what the AIR model does. All right. So those 2 things obviously are the end goal, right? To be connected to a hiring manager or get your resume referred by somebody. So make those things happen if they are offered to you or if it seems like you can go for it. But there are other ways that your network can be of value to you. All right. So that's what I'm going to teach you today. A more comfortable and low pressure way to engage your network in your job search without directly asking them to get you a job. So let's take a minute and we're going to break down each one of these 3 components. Okay. Step 1, people love to give advice. This is a great way to start a conversation with somebody in your network and share that you are in a career change or maybe just in a job search within your field, and just simply get their advice. And there's any number of things that they could advise you on. And people like to do this, right? Free advice. Everybody loves to give that. But it's not cheap. It actually can be valuable if you know what questions to ask. And if you ask for advice on specific areas that can be helpful for you. So let's say, for example, you want to switch from doing pharmaceutical sales to software sales, and so you love sales, but maybe you want to break into the tech industry a little bit. So what you want to do is identify, ideally, somebody you already know, but if not, you can do outreach to somebody else who is in that industry, somebody who ideally is in software sales, but at least within software might be helpful, and gather advice from them on how to break into that industry. So we're not asking them to connect us to an opportunity, but obviously they're going to know by the conversation that you are in a job search. So that will be self-evident. And you're asking for their advice. So it could sound like this. Hey, John, I was wanting to catch up with you on the phone for a few minutes this week. I'm thinking about changing careers and possibly breaking into software sales. And I know that you have a lot of experience in that area. I think that you might be able to give me some great advice. Can we chat next week for about 15 minutes? What day works for you? That was about 4 or 5 sentences, 1 paragraph. That's it. And it was targeted and focused and concise. That person knows exactly why I'm reaching out, how they can be helpful, and I've gone ahead and made the ask and asked for 15 minutes of their time. That person could give you really good information about the industry that could help you refine your approach or change something on your resume or something like that. But how simple was that, really? Keep your message short when you reach out. no more than about a paragraph like mine was. Think about people that you know now that could give you good advice or guidance in any aspect of your search. It could be advice on how to break into a new field, like in this example, or advice on how should I apply to a certain company. Maybe you have a connection who works at Google or Facebook or wherever you've always wanted to work. You could ask them, what advice do you have for me in applying to that company? What's the best way to do it? Should I work through you? Should I apply online? What should I do? How do I get noticed at that company, right? Or maybe you have somebody who's in the same line of work from you, but maybe they're a few levels above and they're in a position that you might like to be in soon. They could give you advice on how to position yourself for a promotion or how to get seen for that next level up job if you're applying for something that's would be a promotion outside of your company. They can give you advice on what do you need to highlight on your resume? What skills do you need to work on? What do hiring managers look for at that level? There are endless amounts of things here, guys. Get creative. What do you want to know? You have the opportunity to pick somebody's brain who's already in a position you want to be in. That is very, very valuable. All right. But either way, this approach of just asking for advice is a great way to just get the conversation started, especially if you are new to the concept of networking. It will increase the chances of the person being able to refer you or at least maybe identify a position that you can apply to in the company that might not be posted online. And that itself is very valuable as well. Okay. All right. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but we are just getting warmed up. When we get back, I'm going to walk you through the other two components, insights and recommendations, and give you some more examples of questions and dialogue. So there is much more to come. We'll be right back. Hey guys, we're on a break for a minute, and I want to tell you about something exciting going on at careeruprising.com. I have an online store that I created just for you. It has a variety of low-cost resources that will give you the boost that you need in your career. And they offer a great introduction to what it would be like to coach with me. I've got ebooks, meditations, and other resources for you to take advantage of and start getting help today. These products are instantly downloadable, priced incredibly low, and cover many aspects of career transitions. Head on over now to the store while you're listening to the show. It's at careeruprising.com/store. That's careeruprising.com/store. Now let's get back to the show. All right, we're back and we've only got one down and two more to go. So the second component to this could be insights. Insights can be a little similar to advice, but there are some differences. So let's say that you have a direct contact at a company that you are interested in working for. So rather than asking the person right off the bat to refer you for a job there, first ask them for insights about what it's like to work at that company. You can ask them about the culture, would they recommend it as a place to work? Do some information gathering first and get their input to see if it's even a place that you want to work. It might not be. Just because you have a contact that works there doesn't mean they like it and they're happy. So go on a little bit of a fact-finding mission first before you ask them to actually do anything for you, and just find out what it's like to work there and if they like it. Who knows? Maybe they're job searching quietly on the side, but chances are that the idea of helping or referring you is going to naturally and organically come up in the conversation. As you'll notice, each one of these components, advice, insights, and recommendations, is really serving just as a springboard to get the conversation going so that it becomes more likely that, of course, they're going to help you as a result. It's almost just natural. But I want you to really just think about, what insights could this person give me, maybe on a company or even on an industry. So for example, if we go back to the first example of someone breaking into software sales from pharmaceutical, you could ask the person you're talking to, what insights do you have for me on the software or tech industry in general? Would you recommend that I get into it? What are some trends I need to be aware of? You can kind of go interchange a little bit between the advice and the insights, but definitely use this as a conversation starter, okay? And I can give you a few more examples of some questions that you can ask that will kind of call upon both of these. So feel free to modify these for your situation. But here's a few examples. What insights do you have for me on the state of the tech industry? What trends should I be aware of? Where do you go to learn about things happening in the industry? Are there any journals or publications that you read? Something like that. That's kind of getting into the next one, recommendations as well. But as you can see, these all bleed together. So don't worry too much about what category it's in. These are just all examples of questions that you can ask. But you could also say, I see that you used to work at Google. What advice do you have for me in applying there? How can I stand out in my application? Or I see that you made a transition in your own career from healthcare sales to software sales. What advice do you have for someone like me who wants to do the same thing? There are endless questions, you guys. These are all just examples. Okay. So the third one is recommendations. So this one takes it a little step further, but I want you to consider this one. Consider asking people in your network for recommendations. And there's a multitude of things that they could recommend for you. This could be recommendations of companies that you should research and apply to. So you could say, are there any other companies in addition to the ones that we've talked about that you would recommend that I target or do some research on? They could also recommend companies for you to avoid that have a bad reputation or a toxic culture. That is just as useful as knowing where you do want to apply for. It could also be recommendations of other people that you could have similar conversations with or be connected to. Or they could simply make recommendations of changes to your resume or your LinkedIn. Maybe as somebody who is in that industry, they could give you some tips on what employers want to see. All of these things are useful. And I think that the most important thing is that you are having conversations with people who are doing what you want to be doing or in that industry, because there's really nothing more valuable than that. That goes way beyond reading reviews on Glassdoor.com or something like that. You're actually talking to people who are there and would know. You can even ask, for recommendations on salary. I'm getting ready to go into a job interview for this or that position, and I know that you have experience in that area. I'm thinking about asking for a salary of XYZ. What would you recommend? Does that sound on par? There are so many ways that your network can be of value to you. But this is particularly useful if you are trying to break in to a new industry or a new company that's hard to break into, like the Googles and the Facebooks, because everybody wants to work there. So it's really important then that you use these strategies and talk to somebody who is kind of, quote, on the inside. They can help you to refine your approach and your presentation. So here's a few more examples of some questions that kind of fall within the recommendations. You could say, as I go about my job search, what companies would you recommend that I research and learn more about? You could say, is there anyone else in your network that you recommend that I speak to that you might be willing to introduce me to? People get a little uncomfortable with that one, but it's not too forward. You're simply saying, I want to continue to have more conversations like this one today because this has been really valuable. Who else do you think might be willing to talk to me? Who else is really important in this company or in this industry that you think I could speak to? Would you be willing to introduce me? And then again, are there any journals or publications that you would recommend that I read up on in order to stay up to date on the industry or learn more about it? Okay. I hope that helps you and gives you an overview, but use this as I said, as a springboard. And don't worry about if I've asked advice, insights, recommendations, use any of them really. They kind of overlap each other, and you're not necessarily going to use all of them in one conversation with one person. You might use one or two, but at least just use one. Don't worry about getting all of them stuffed into one conversation. But one of the most important things about networking is you want to go into these conversations focused and with an agenda. You don't just want to hop on the phone and just be like, well, I got to just talk to him about my job search. It's going to be a better use of your time and theirs. And they'll be more likely, I think, to pick up the phone and schedule the call with you if there is a specific way that you think that they can help you. So that's why in that dialogue, I let the person know, hey, I think you might be able to help me in this area or answer this question for me. Rather than just saying, hey, we haven't chatted in a while. Let's catch up. That's not urgent enough that a lot of people who are busy might not reply to that. It's just not specific enough. They don't really see the reason or the value behind it. So make sure that there is a reason you're reaching out to them. And even if it's still fairly broad, give them something to chew on there and something to say yes to. Okay? All right. There you have it. My friends, those are 3 strategies that you can use right away to start conversations with people in your network and engage them in your search in a low pressure conversational way. Using these methods will greatly increase the chances that your connections will be able to either refer you to an opportunity directly or at least get you one step closer. This is a great method for getting into the hidden job market because we always want to be applying online, but then also targeting specific companies and specific contacts that we have that could be valuable. Never limit yourself to what you see online. All right. Your closest connections can help you to refine your job target and improve your presentation to better position you for the job that you want. Okay. I hope this 2-part series helped you. Check out the blog posts. And for more shows like this, the easiest way to listen is on my website at careeruprising.com/podcast. Shows come out just about every other Monday. And I would love your rating and review, or just email me at Lorraine@careeruprising.com and tell me what you thought of the show. All right. Take care, guys. I'll be back soon. That's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard today, please consider giving the show a positive review on iTunes. It would mean a lot to me, and it would help to spread the word so that others can learn about the show. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to connect with you again next time on Career Uprising.
This show is brought to you by InflowRadio.com, the best curated talk radio network for personal development, wellness, spirituality, and conscious business.